Hello and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer, the Baron Harkonnen of board game review shows. Why the Baron Harkonnen? Because I'm fat and secretly the hero of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Project Elite from CMON. In Project Elite from CMON, 1 to 6 players take on the role of various space soldiers as they're taking on all sorts of kooky aliens in this wild cooperative game. The game board is either a map of the laboratory or the crash site. The game board has a number of arrows into it that indicate exactly the paths along which the various aliens will take as they're trying to get from one side of the board to the other. Players are going to go ahead and select which specific hero they want to play. They're going to go ahead and put their own color base on it. You're also going to get a player action board that kind of has a lot of details about your character, specific powers they have, specific advantages they have. It's also going to have the a tracker for your health and a place to place your weapons. Now you're all going to get some basic starting weapons, but there's going to be opportunities to upgrade as the game advances. Now each game round there are several different phases of the game. First of all, you're going to have a number of event cards laid out on one side of the board. You're going to pick the leftmost event card and reveal it. And this may have some peculiar things that happen during that particular round of the game. It may have some extra difficulties or things that the heroes must work together to overcome, or just some other kooky deals that may be no effect. You just don't know. Next, you have the alien swarm phase. Essentially, depending on your difficulty level and the number of players you've got, you're going to grab a number of cards that tell you exactly where and how these aliens are going to swarm. They're going to swarm on one side of the board, and as they keep coming in from specific swarm points, there's only so many spaces they can swarm out of, they push other aliens closer to the other side of the board, and that's going to move them forward. You're also going to reveal some boss cards. These are very powerful aliens, and they are going to be placed on the board too, following the normal swarm rules. Next, we have the action phase. Now this is kind of where everything happens. Each player is going to get a number of action dice, I believe 4 action dice, and you're also going to get a number of D6s with numbers on them. And what you're going to do is you've got a 2-minute timer. Now the game comes with a digital timer. You can also download an app. That's what we used. That's just got a really cool thematic timer on it. But essentially, you just get 2 minutes for the action round. So what's going to happen is, as soon as you hit action, you're going to start rolling your action die. Now, your action die are going to have different symbols on them. So there's different things you can do. If you roll the weapon icon, you can go ahead and charge your weapon, charge your gun, and then you can look on that gun. It tells you how many spaces you can fire, your range. It tells you how many die you're going to roll, and you roll the numbered die. It also tells you what you hit on. You roll the die. If you hit on one of your die hits on that number, you can go ahead and eliminate the person. You lose the charge from your gun. You go ahead and you keep rolling. You can also roll a wrench, which means you may need to manipulate something, and that may be important for some of the specific items you've got that you need to deal with on the board. You may have an event that needs item cards as well, item die as well. You may roll a movement action, which is essentially allows you to move your hero 1 space in any direction, but you can only move 1 space per die rolled. You may roll a magnifying glass. This is a search token. If you are on or adjacent to a search location, you can go ahead then and look through the search deck and try to find other items. These could be more powerful weapons. These could be just other goodies that help you along in your quest. You may roll the manipulate. It's kind of a finger symbol. That's, again, something else that things may come up that you need to put that on in order to fulfill a specific objective that you're looking for. Now, as you're rolling, at any time, you may roll the red alien symbol. If you roll the red alien symbol, that means you can't take any other action before you take care of that. And what you have to do is you move the alien, any alien, you pick an alien and you move him along the track. Now, sometimes there's choices and you can make that choice, but you have to move an alien. So even as you're rolling to kill them and to move and to manipulate your own guys, you are moving forward the horde. Now, bear in mind, this is going all at the same time. Everybody's doing it. That horde is moving forward pretty steadily. Now, basically, depending on the scenario, you may be trying to do several things. There are different locations on the board that have kind of objective areas for die. So when you roll the die, you can take a die and place it on that to fulfill that specific objective. However, that means there's less action die for you to roll subsequently. But you keep rolling until you go ahead and expend those dice in those ways you see fit. Once you take the action, you can go ahead and re-roll them unless you've allocated them to an objective or an event card or a weapon. But you keep going until the 2 minutes is up. After the 2 minutes is over, you get a breather, then you go to the alien activation phase. Now, during the alien activation phase, you look at specific attributes of the alien. Some of the aliens can shoot, some of the aliens will attack if they're next to you, and bosses may have some very special attributes. So you go ahead, you see who and where they attack, or if they move, or anything that happens, and you resolve that issue as well. Finally, you have the end of round phase. You do a victory check. If victory has not been achieved by either side, then you go ahead and you retrieve all of your dice, you reactivate all your tokens, and you prepare for the next round. Now, there's a few ways you can lose here. If any one of the heroes dies, game over, man. You're Fritos. If at any time one of the monsters, one of the aliens actually gets it to the other side of the board, then again, you're toast. You'll also lose if after 8 rounds the objectives still haven't been completed. But if you can succeed in fulfilling your objectives, loading those objective tokens with dice, and then getting all of your guys back to the original start space, then you and your friends win Project Elite. So Project Elite is a game that I had not heard about, but I guess it had been around for a while. It's a game that I think was out in 2016 by, I think it was Artipia. And from what I'd heard, the minis weren't that good. It didn't look that good, but it played really fun, I heard from people. Now, I heard this subsequently. I hadn't even heard of this game initially until they sent me a copy, and then I learned this about it. I was actually in Texas. This came right before I left Texas, and so I hadn't had a chance to play it until just recently. But I read up on it, and I thought, okay, this looks interesting. But I got to tell you, I've said this before, I'm kind of past dungeon crawlers generally. The games with the minis and loading up with weapons and moving around. I mean, there's some that I still like, Zombicide and whatnot. But just generally, I'm getting a little bored with them because they just all seem fairly samey to me. So I need them to stand out in order for me to really like them. And what I found was that I really, really liked the action phase here, how it was timed. I remember years ago, Eric Lang was talking about XCOM, the board game, because he designed XCOM, the board game, and he said, in a timed game, you want part of the game time, and then you need kind of a breather. You need to kind of, okay, let's see what happens. You need to kind of work that out. And that's very true. If the game is all timed, it's too aggravating. And I like this because you've got those 2 minutes of just controlled chaos. And then suddenly you kind of, okay, what's the result? So what's happening? What's going on? And I really like that. And this game does that really well. I actually was pleasantly surprised with this game. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I did. Some of the guys I was playing with it, they all seemed to like it. Some of them said, I like it. I don't know how often I'd play it. And there's questions of replayability. And I can see where they're coming from. Now, we played a 6-player game. We played with 6 players. And it was a little crowded, but it was kind of fun. I mean, I liked it. I think this game would probably shine with fewer players, maybe 4 or 5 players. But I liked it with 6. I had fun with 6. It was a good game. The way the aliens are coming out, the way the aliens are spawning is cool. The way you have to move them when you roll the activation die. When you roll the red activation die and you have to move the aliens is just a whole lot of fun. And just seeing that horde come forward and then you're trying to thin it out with guns. I think more than any other dungeon crawler I've ever played, this game has action. I mean, this game has action. it feels like you're in there in a real shoot 'em up. I mean, you play other dungeon crawlers, and it's your turn, it's his turn. Okay, this happened, and it's fun, and you get a sense of panic and action there. But with the frantic nature of the dice rolling and the timed, it just works so well here. I am a fan of Project Elite. I do have some questions about the replayability, how often people will come back to it. I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if, I'm looking through the scenarios and stuff, and I'm wondering if they're different enough. But I got to tell you, that being said, it's just super fun and super frantic. I was kind of weighing a try it before you buy it, a positive try it before you buy it, but I'm just going to say it's such a good experience, and I enjoyed it enough. I'm confident in saying buy it. I think if you want a frantic, action-filled dungeon crawler, I think this is the one you're going to want to go to. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am here in beautiful Eagle Mountain, Utah. As you can see, I've got some beautiful scenery behind me. I got a road over there. You can probably hear the cars going by. But it's absolutely lovely here. I'm just thrilled at oh, there's a snake. Right now, as I'm talking, there's a snake. Son of a bit me. That's all right. Move along. Wow. That hurt. Ow. Ugh. But anyway, he bit me again. Good times. Anyway, please like us on Facebook, subscribe. Oh, it bit me again. Ooh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like the channel and everything. I probably better get to a hospital, but.
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Okay, so hi there. This is Blood and Rum, or Rum and Bones. Rum and Bones by Cool Mini or Not. And a lot of times when you pick up a game, it's really complicated and confusing. It's a very thick rule book. So I'm going to go through what I call just like a real concise, quick rules. So what you got here is this is a 3 to 5 player game. All right, and you have these ones you can choose. I always like to choose Miss Mags because she's the hottest. So, but they all have different abilities and different things that they can do. Miss Mags, she has a distraction ability, where one of the other players, they'll be like, hey, I'm supposed to be fighting this pirate over here, but Miss Mags, she's really low cut, and then you get an extra turn. So that's why I like to play Miss Mags. So basically the way this game works, it's a turn-based game, and what you do is, like, if I'm Miss Mags, the first thing I do is I roll my dice. I roll 4 dice, okay? All right, so I got this number here. I got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 points with which to distribute across the board. These guys are worth 3 points, the fat guy is worth 5 points, and the pirate captain's worth 10 points. So where I had this many points, I can only move 3 guys. Now, I don't want to come across here because there's an orange guy. Orange guys are like displacer beasts. This is kind of a combination between pirates and D&D. So what you do is I'm going to move these guys over here. I'm going to activate them onto this bridge. Now what I've done is I've created a choke point. This is strategy. I'm not going to get into it. You figure out a strategy on your own, but that's what I choose to do, is create choke points. This game is really all about just choke points. So now let's say I'm playing against Captain Daniel Pale here. He's a skeleton. His special ability is that since he's a skeleton, he's not affected by rum. So he doesn't get drunk. So as he's drinking all these different rum pieces here, he drinks them, but he doesn't get drunk, and so he's not affected. But then he gets the bonuses of the rum, but now the negatives of the rum. So then what he does is he comes out, he even roll his dice, so he rolls 4 dice. Since he is not affected by the rum, he gets 5. Oh, good roll. He got a good roll. He actually got a lot of points. So he's going to choose to move, since he's the purple guys, he's going to move all of his guys to my choke point. This is one of the rare cases where choke point does not help you because you rolled so high above what I had. This is like the one instance where that particular strategy, it backfired for sure. And he actually takes out my hook anchor hand guy. These pirates don't have hook hands, they have anchor hands. This guy, which makes him way more bad A. So, but he took it out, so I guess he's not as tough as I hoped. He takes over at the choke point, pretty much using my strategy against me, and then it goes on like that. So that's basically how you play Rum and Bones in a nutshell.